doctor who has helped thousands of women just like you lose weight and reverse disease by simply changing the way they eat. Dr. Joel Fuhrman is back. And for the first time, he's revealing what he does to stay healthy and how you can too. He's going to tell us how he shops, what he cooks, and the rules he lives by. We're going to start with your kitchen must-haves. So the first thing you have is a juicer. Now, we've been talking a lot about juicing and other technologies in our kitchens. Why would it be worth making the investment here?
You know, because I love to make soups, and I make a big pot of soup in my house every weekend. And I eat that same soup with the mushrooms, with the onions, with the beans in it, with all the greens. I eat that soup all week long, so I don't have to keep cooking again. So I put everything in the soup. And the most fun thing is to make the soup taste great, is to make a delicious vegetable base. So I'll juice a whole 5-pound bag of carrots. It'll make a giant pot of soup. And here you get like the 2 quarts. I have carrot juice. I'll make a couple of stalks of celery in there. You know what I'll do? When the juice comes out, I'll take the pulp from the juicer and I'll form it into a ball and put it back in the juicer a second time.
You recycle it.
Recycle it, juice it again, and I get another cup of juice out of the pulp so I get it really nice and dry.
Very economical of you.
Well, I don't want to waste that good juice.
And finally, you say we have to have a blender. Why?
Well, the blender's great because I can make my favorite dishes, delicious ice creams and sorbets by mixing frozen fruit in the blender, and salad dressings. You know, I want people to eat a big salad every day, and you know, oil has 120 calories a tablespoon, and you absorb it very rapidly, and it makes you gain weight. You use nuts and seeds in place of oil with their natural fibers.
Your cashews
yeah, it makes you lose weight. And they protects you against chronic disease, reducing the risk of heart disease. So here I'm putting in a whole 2 peeled navel oranges, the cashews and the sesame seeds, some quarter of a lemon, and maybe some vinegar. You know, here you have some apple cider vinegar or rice wine or blood orange vinegar. Whip that up, and you make an incredible, delicious cashew orange dressing. Taste some. You're going to like it. It's delicious. Throw it on a great salad, and you have a healthy dressing on a healthy salad.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's great.
You can change the consistency of it by adding a little more OJ?
Sure, you can change the consistency of it. There's a million different recipes you can make delicious salad dressings by utilizing the disease-protective effects of nuts and seeds instead of oil.
So I've had some reservations about advocating all these to our audience because these must-haves, they can be an investment for some people. And I realize they can be pricey at times, but let me be clear about this. I want you to borrow, share, look online. You can find these products affordably. I found juicers that were as low as $40 and blenders for $30. And with these, you can change dramatically the food you put in front of your family and save a lot of money on the back end. Oh, let's get to the food rules Dr. Fuhrman lives by. And these he uses these to cure even the most common problems we have. Kim is joining us.
Hi.
Kim is one of his patients. How are you?
Dr.
Fuhrman's rules work for her. And I believe they can work for you too. 1 year ago, Kim had high blood pressure.
Yep.
He had diabetes.
Yep.
And listen carefully, Kim weighed 231 pounds. Today, Kim has lost almost 100 pounds. All the problems that she faced, all those illnesses, have been reversed. So, Kim, what was your motivation to try Dr. Fuhrman's program?
Well, essentially, I was on too many medications. I couldn't get up in the morning. I had kids. I knew I had to do something. And I saw Dr. Fuhrman's special, and it just made sense.
Well, I'm glad you didn't just blame the kids, which happens a lot of times. All right, Dr. Fuhrman's rule number 1, get protein from vegetables. What do you mean by this?
Well, you know, most people don't realize that plant foods are high in protein. They think they only get protein from animal products.
So we're going to take his animal product to Dr. Fuhrman's program. This is a typical, dinner or at least 2 dinners for a lot of folks. This goes away.
Good. I haven't had one of those steaks in 2 years.
You haven't?
No. Don't miss it.
Well, that's an important point because a lot of us think we can't live our lives that way. Proteins in the veggies.
That's right. You know, people don't understand. 2 cups of broccoli, 10 grams of protein, a high protein food. It's mostly protein, not carbohydrate. You know, 1 cup of chickpeas, 15 grams of protein. 1 cup of spinach, 7 grams of protein. These are high protein foods. When you're eating natural plant foods, whether it's grains or seeds or nuts or beans or vegetables, you're already getting lots of protein. But you see, plant protein, it lowers cholesterol, and animal protein raises cholesterol. So here we're making a switch here, and we're getting dramatic benefits.
Let me show you why that's so. This is a very important point. Because when you start to switch to plant-based proteins, if you have a cholesterol problem, which Kim was one of the things you were struggling with, imagine this is your digestive system. Right? And this clear water represents what you're supposed to look like. Pretty clean, pretty clear. And then you add cholesterol. This is cholesterol. Now, again, it can come oftentimes in the form of animal protein because the animals have cholesterol in them. But you recycle your own cholesterol as well. Sometimes you make your own cholesterol, but nevertheless, your digestive system gets full of this cholesterol. Plants have fiber in them. And because they have fiber in them, when you eat them, that fiber binds to digest the bile and the cholesterol in the digestive system, and it binds it so thickly that you end up with this thick sludge that, guess what? When it's like that, your body can't absorb it back into the bloodstream. Your digestive system literally gets full of cholesterol, and instead of going back into the body, you poop it out. Look familiar, folks?
That's right.
There you are by yourself in the bathroom, and the next thing you know, it's coming out and it's wiggling its way out. And that's what ends up happening, and that's where you want the cholesterol coming out of your body through your bowels, not being reabsorbed into your bloodstream.
That's right. People don't realize that cholesterol that your body makes goes out from the bloodstream into the digestive tract and gets sucked outside. Not just cholesterol from food, but the cholesterol your body makes gets sucked out through the stool.
There's your solution. Right. How's your cholesterol number?
136.
136.
What was it before?
It wasn't too high. It was about 168.
Well, still, we give medications sometimes to those numbers. All right, rule number 2 is that we eat meat only every other day. Why is that so critical?
Well, that's the thing. We're learning that it's not just the fat and saturated fat of meat, it's also the meat protein here that produce body hormones. We're talking here about eating less animal protein, keeping it to low levels, and more vegetable protein. And, it's okay if you want to have an ounce, or up to 1 to 3 ounces, let's say, mixed into you could put an ounce into a bean mushroom burger and it'll taste like meat, or a couple of ounces into a salad. But then if you're having animal product one day, the next day make it a completely vegetarian day. Don't have animal products. That keeps your levels of animal products low enough so you're not raising cholesterol, you're not pushing up the hormones that'll raise blood pressure up. Push up your blood pressure.
Your blood pressure, how's that now?
106 over 75, 78.
And what did it used to be?
At my highest, it was 165 over 108.
And you were on medications.
Yeah.
And that was on medications, and now it's actually below even normal, which is good.
Right.
And no medications.
No medication.
I mean, you're a poster child for what we're talking about. No, seriously, Joe, when I look at the patients you take care of and I see these kinds of dramatic changes, if you're at home and you can hear my voice right now and you're taking blood pressure medications, look at this woman.
Yeah.
And you're seeing what your future might look like. It doesn't have to be full of medications, and it doesn't have to be an unrelenting course towards getting older with a higher number with more medications. It can be in the direction you're speaking of with these kinds of simple tips. All right, rule number 3 is to eat slowly digestible starch. Right. What define that for me, if you don't mind?
Well, slowly digestible starch does what it says. It's slowly digested. When you eat lentils and peas and beans and barley, the slowly digestible starch feeds the glucose into your bloodstream over many hours, 3 to 4 hours. Doesn't spike a glucose raise in your bloodstream, doesn't raise an insulin response. And when you eat things like white flour and white rice and white potato and sugar, shoots up your blood glucose right away. Your body has to create a huge insulin response, and insulin is growth promoting, and fat storage, makes you gain weight. Yeah. So this lowers your glucose, helps you rid yourself of diabetes, keeps you thin. And slowly digestible starch is the secret here.
All these tips, Joel, and you've shared them with us throughout the year, and I appreciate it, have resulted in lots of folks like Kim here. It just makes me so joyful when I see someone who was destined for the traditional life that we have in America now, on a lot of medications and still having the problems we're talking about, and now you're off the medications without the problems. That's the power of what you're teaching us, so I appreciate it. There's one last tip Joel has. It's maybe his favorite tip, his final rule, and I think you all going to enjoy it the most. It's that you have to eat dessert every day. You heard right. Dr. Fuhrman says you must have dessert every day, but it's got to be his kind of dessert. Coming up, you can have apple pie and ice cream. Dr. Fuhrman is going to show us how to have our pie and eat it too. It is next. I'm back with Dr. Joel Fuhrman, who's sharing his recipe for apple pie and ice cream. And he actually is saying this, and it is good for you. So why do you want folks to have dessert every day?
It's a great idea because they have something tasty and sweet at night after they eat dinner, and they stop eating for the day, they clean the kitchen, they clean their teeth, they don't snack the rest of the night, and they feel satisfied. It prevents overeating.
All right.
And it's healthy for them. We make such a healthy dessert, too.
Well, it's healthy the way you're going to make it for us, which is apple pie. This is apple pie Fuhrman style. So the first item is the crust. So what's unique about how you're doing this?
Well, we're going to make a healthy crust with no flour. So we're going to mix together. So we're going to grind up some almonds, and here's the ground almonds. We're going to mix it with some oats. This is oatmeal. So we're going to take some pressed or ground dates, and a secret ingredient, chia seeds, which makes delicious gelatin. And these are really super healthy, reduce risk of cancer, breast cancer, and they're really great. And a little bit of water. Knead it together, and then once it's kneaded together, push it down. We're going to spread it out.
So this is raw. I mean, you're not cooking this at all.
No, nothing's cooked here. Just push it all down until it goes up the sides a little bit more, right?
Such a perfectionist, Joel.
Thin it down a little bit more. Okay.
So persnickety about his pie. Okay.
All right, so now we're going to do the filling. So
what's in the filling?
Well, the filling is an apple pie, but we're going to the difference is we're going to take the shredded apples and we're going to sweeten it with some dried apple. We're going to mix up the dried apple with the apple. But these dried apples are soaked in a little sweet wine. I like to use for like company a little muscat wine, gives it a great flavor.
Don't waste good wine, Joel. Oh, it's much better.
Okay, so we're going to take the apples that were soaked and mix the dried apples and mix it in with these shredded apples. And here's some secret. Here's some shredded beets and carrots to mix in. We're going to mix in the shredded beets. So we put in vegetables. In this pie, we're going to throw in some chopped walnuts, raisins or currants, and a little shredded coconut. It's going to make it all stick together. And, of course, the shredded apple, which is the main ingredient because it's an apple pie after all.
Yes, it is. All right, so this all goes in there.
Yeah, put it right on top of the crust.
You stamp it in there.
Right.
And no cooking. That's it. And how long do you let it dry for?
No cooking, but we're going to press it down, put a heavy plate on top of it, and let it stay in the refrigerator for a couple of hours so it all melds together.
All right. So when you're done, it looks sort of like this, but that's only the apple pie part of it. Right. If you're truly going to have pie a la mode, you've got to make some ice cream. So how do you make the ice cream?
Well, we can make lots of different types of ice creams. One of my quick and favorite ice creams is just to take frozen bananas. We're making a banana walnut ice cream. So these bananas have been in the freezer overnight, but at least for 4 hours in the freezer. You know, so these have been frozen bananas. Put in some, in this case, we're throwing in some vanilla soy milk, just a little bit of vanilla soy milk, some walnuts. And I like to put a little splash of vanilla in there, too, when I do it.
How about that wine? A little wine?
Not wine, just vanilla.
He's got a conservative. All right. Mix it up, and it looks like this.
Right, delicious ice cream. And you guys got to taste how great just simple ice cream tastes just from whipping up bananas. And you put it on, spread it on the pie, and gives a delicious contrast to the nice chilled apple pie.
Let's do a little quality control here. Who wants to taste the pie la mode? We got all our. Okay, you looked innocent here. All right. Okay. And I want an honest opinion here. Chef Fuhrman, would you go back to his clinic again? You would.
That's really good.
All right, Joe, how good is this for everybody? Is it good?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, you go. DrOz.com has the recipe for the Fuhrman pie and ice cream. Next, a game we have never played before. How to get the best bang for your buck at the grocery store. The stakes, oh, they are high. The money is flowing. You don't want to miss this.